The Detroit Lions are positioned for something extraordinary this season, and what I'm about to break down for you could be the missing piece that transforms a great team into an unstoppable championship machine. Welcome to Lions News Fan Report, your trusted destination for breaking news, insider analysis, and everything you need to stay connected with our beloved Detroit Lions. Today, I'm diving into a situation that's been developing behind the scenes, something that addresses one of our most critical needs and could define whether we're just playoff contenders or legitimate Super Bowl favorites. The trade deadline is approaching fast, and while most fans are focused on the flashy skill position players dominating headlines across the league, the real championship-caliber teams understand that games are won and lost in the trenches. That's where dynasties are built. That's where Super Bowl runs begin, and that's exactly where the Lions need to be focusing their attention right now if we're serious about making a deep playoff push. Let me paint the picture for you. The Lions are having an incredible season. Jared Goff is playing at an MVP level. Our offensive weapons are creating mismatches across the field, and the defense has shown flashes of brilliance. But there's one area that keeps me up at night, one position group that could either elevate us to championship glory or become our Achilles heel when we face the elite defenses in January. I'm talking about our offensive line, specifically the tackle position and the protection we're providing for the most important player on our roster. Now, before anyone gets defensive, let me be clear. I'm not saying our current tackles are terrible. I'm saying that in the NFL, especially when you're a legitimate Super Bowl contender, good isn't always good enough. You need great. You need players who can neutralize the Micah Parsons of the world, who can handle the speed rushers that will come at you in playoff games, who can give your quarterback that extra split second to make championship-winning throws. And here's where things get really interesting. There is a player in the NFC North, a division rival no less, who represents exactly the kind of upgrade that could take our offensive line from solid to elite. A young tackle who's been quietly putting together impressive performances, who's still on a team-friendly contract, and who might actually be available if the Lions are willing to make a bold move. The Chicago Bears are sitting at a disappointing record this season, and when teams underperform expectations, when the playoff picture starts looking bleak, that's when front offices start having difficult conversations about the future. That's when players who were considered untouchable suddenly become available if the price is right. And that's exactly the situation we might be looking at with one of their most promising young offensive lineman, Braxton Jones. That's the name I want you to remember because he could be the answer to our offensive line concerns. The Bears selected Jones in the 5th round of the 2022 NFL Draft out of Southern Utah, and he's been a revelation since arriving in Chicago. He stepped into the starting left tackle role as a rookie and hasn't looked back, showing the kind of development and consistency that you rarely see from a 5th-round pick at such a demanding position. Jones has started every game he's been healthy for since entering the league, accumulating valuable experience against some of the best pass rushers in football. He's faced the elite edge rushers of the NFC North twice a year. He's gone up against premier defenders from across the conference, and he's held his own far more often than you'd expect from someone with his draft pedigree. That kind of experience, that baptism by fire, is exactly what creates battle-tested offensive linemen who can perform in the biggest moments. Standing at 6'5" and weighing in at around 310 pounds, Jones has the prototypical size for an NFL tackle. But what makes him special isn't just his physical attributes, it's his technique, his football IQ, and his ability to handle both power rushers and speed rushers. He's shown versatility in his pass protection, demonstrating good footwork in his kick slide, solid hand placement to control defenders, and the awareness to pick up stunts and blitzes that can destroy plays before they develop. In pass protection this season, Jones has been one of the more consistent tackles in the league. He's allowed minimal sacks, considering the volume of pass attempts the Bears have had, and his pressure rate allowed is well below league average for starting tackles. Those numbers might not jump off the page to casual fans, but to anyone who understands offensive line play, they're extremely impressive for a player still in just his third season. But Jones isn't just a pass protector. In the run game, he's shown the ability to move defenders at the point of attack, to reach block on outside zone schemes, and to get to the second level to engage linebackers. The Lions' offense under Ben Johnson is predicated on versatility, on being able to run multiple schemes and keep defenses guessing. Jones has experience in both gap and zone running schemes, which means he'd fit seamlessly into what we're trying to do offensively. Now, here's why the timing of this potential move makes so much sense. The Bears are clearly not competing for a playoff spot this season. They're in evaluation mode, they're thinking about the future, and they have some difficult decisions to make about their roster construction. Jones is entering the final year of his rookie contract, which means the Bears will soon need to decide whether to extend him with a significant financial commitment or potentially lose him in free agency. For a team that's rebuilding, that's not in win-now mode, the calculus changes. Do you invest major money in a left tackle when your quarterback situation is uncertain, when you have holes across the roster, when you might be multiple years away from contention? Or do you maximize the asset while you can, get draft capital or players in return, and use those resources to accelerate your rebuild? That's where the Lions come in. We're not rebuilding, we're not in evaluation mode. We're legitimate Super Bowl contenders right now this season, and we need to be aggressive about addressing any weaknesses that could derail our championship aspirations. Trading for Jones would be exactly the kind of bold win-now move that championship organizations make. Imagine Jones protecting Jared Goff's blindside for the rest of this season and beyond. Imagine having that security, that confidence that your franchise quarterback has elite protection when it matters most. Imagine facing the 49ers' Nick Bosa or the Eagles' Hassan Reddick in a playoff game and knowing you have a tackle who can handle that assignment. That's the difference between watching the Super Bowl from home and playing in it. The financial aspect of this potential trade makes it even more attractive. Jones is still on his rookie contract, which means he's incredibly affordable compared to veteran tackles on the open market. The Lions could acquire him without breaking the bank, without sacrificing future financial flexibility, and still have the resources to address other needs either through free agency or the draft. It's the kind of team-friendly contract situation that allows you to stack talent without cap consequences. From a compensation standpoint, the Bears would likely be looking for draft capital in return. Given Jones's production, his age, and his contract situation, I'd estimate it would take somewhere in the range of a third or fourth round pick to get a deal done. That might seem steep for some fans, but let me put it in perspective. Draft picks are valuable, but they're also uncertain. You're trading a projection for proven production, potential for performance. When you're a Super Bowl contender, that's a trade you make every single time. The Lions have built their roster intelligently, accumulating draft capital and making smart moves that have positioned us for sustained success. But there comes a time when you have to cash in those chips, when you have to go all in on your championship window. With the way our offense is playing, with the weapons we have, with Goff performing at this level, that time is now. This is our window, and we need to maximize it. Let's talk about scheme fit, because that's crucial when evaluating any potential trade. Ben Johnson's offense is one of the most creative and diverse in the NFL. We run outside zone, inside zone, gap schemes. We use motion and misdirection. We ask our offensive linemen to be versatile and intelligent. Jones has operated in a similar system in Chicago. He understands the concepts. He's comfortable with the techniques required. There would be virtually no learning curve. He could step in and contribute immediately. The other aspect to consider is the locker room fit. Jones has a reputation as a hard worker, a professional, someone who takes his craft seriously. Those are exactly the kind of players this Lions team has been built around. He'd fit the culture that Dan Campbell has established. He'd embrace the physical mentality we pride ourselves on, and he'd be another example of the kind of tough, resilient player that defines this organization. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, why would the Bears trade a good young player to a division rival? It's a fair question, and historically, division trades are rare because teams don't want to strengthen their competition. But here's the reality. The Bears and Lions are in completely different phases. The Bears aren't competing with us this year or probably next year. By the time they're ready to contend, Jones might be gone anyway in free agency, and they get nothing in return. At least by trading him now, they get assets they can use to build for their future. There's also precedent for these kinds of moves. We've seen division rivals make trades when it makes sense for both sides, when the competitive windows don't overlap, when the value proposition is clear. The Bears would be foolish not to listen to offers for Jones if they're serious about rebuilding the right way, and the Lions would be foolish not to explore every option to upgrade a position of need. The impact of adding Jones would extend beyond just this season. If the Lions trade for him, they'd have his rights for the remainder of this year, and then they'd have the opportunity to negotiate an extension before he hits free agency. That means this isn't just a rental. This is potentially a long-term solution at a critical position. You'd be adding a cornerstone piece who could protect your franchise quarterback for the next 5 to 7 years. Think about what that would mean for our offensive continuity. Instead of constantly churning through tackles, constantly trying to find solutions in free agency or the draft, you'd have stability at one of the most important positions on the field. That stability allows your offense to develop chemistry, allows your quarterback to build trust, allows your entire unit to function at a higher level because everyone knows their role and their responsibilities. I want to be clear about something. This isn't just speculation for the sake of content. This is a realistic scenario that makes sense for both teams, that addresses a legitimate need for the Lions, and that could actually happen if Brad Holmes decides to be aggressive. The pieces are there, the logic is sound, and the timing is perfect with the trade deadline approaching. So here's what I need to know from all of you. Would you support the Lions trading a 3rd or 4th round pick for Braxton Jones? Do you think offensive line should be the priority at the deadline, or would you rather see us target a different position? And how confident are you in our current tackle situation heading into the playoffs? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I genuinely want to hear how you'd approach this situation if you were making the decisions. Make sure you're subscribed to Lions News Fan Report and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates as we approach the trade deadline. We're going to be all over every development, every rumor, every potential move that could impact this team's championship aspirations. This is the kind of in-depth analysis and passionate coverage you won't find anywhere else. So stay locked in with me as we navigate this crucial stretch of the season together. 1. Pride.